Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Aisha Harley, and I am joined today with Arin Fugate. We are two of the founders of the Visionary Leaders Collective, and it is our pleasure to welcome you to our podcast. If you would like to learn about all of our community offerings, please visit www.hellovisionary.life. Please also follow us on Instagram and on YouTube. In addition, we would be grateful if you would take the time to give us a 5-star rating on this podcast, because that helps other people find us, and we super appreciate that. Today, we're going to be talking about how to use oils to support pain and inflammation. And Arin is going to guide us through a beautiful meditation with Deep Blue. So if you've not grabbed your Deep Blue, please do so. But first, before we jump into that, I want to make sure that all of you know that we have an incredible doTERRA flash sale happening. It starts tomorrow and it goes through the 31st. And we have a long list of products that are 20% off. And I especially want to bring attention to the osmanthus, which is a really exciting oil if you don't have that. We have 30% off the Amavi collection. And then we have a BOGO. If you buy PB Assist, you get a PB Assist for free. And probiotics are absolutely essential for supporting your microbiome, your immune system, and your overall health. So I am going to pass the call on over to Arin, and she is going to guide us through our meditation.
Thanks, Aisha. So we're talking about pain today. Chronic pain, regular aches and pains, arthritis, etc. Just put it in the chat if you struggle with any type of pain, and let us know where your trouble spot is. Mine is between my shoulder blades. It's also my sacrum, my SI joint, and my right heel. And this pain kind of plagues me. So I've had to work a lot with pain. It's how I came into doTERRA. And we're going to talk about oils and products for pain, but first we're going to do a somatic pain mapping meditation, which I find to be very helpful. So if you know anyone that struggles with pain, you're going to want to share this episode with them. It's a really short, easy meditation that you can do at any time, because what I have learned is we're often trying to run away from our pain. We're often trying to find a pill or something that will take the pain away. And although it's so great to have our oils to help with the pain, I've also found there's a big lesson when we go into it and we actually ask it what it's trying to tell us, and we let it be heard. So if you're driving, come back to this later. But if you're not driving, you can find yourself in a comfortable situation. And we're going to just save the Deep Blue for a moment, but you can have it there and ready. Maybe feet on the ground, hands towards the sky. And when you're ready, you're going to slowly let your eyes drift closed. And just any last wiggles that you need to comfortably or uncomfortably, however you are, just sit in this position. We're going to do 3 rounds of breath to the count of 8. I know this is a long breath, and it's okay if you can't actually breathe for a full 8 count. But just hold the intention of breathing into the count of 8, slight hold at the top, and then we'll breathe out to the count of 8. And we're ready to begin in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last one. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just sit here for a moment, feeling all the sensations in your body, allowing that breath of life, the oxygen and vitality to fill every cell of your body. And then notice what part of your body is asking for attention. Maybe it's a sensation, a song, maybe it's physical pain. What part of your body is asking? If you can, put your hands there. If you can't reach it with your hands, just hold your intention. Breathe in deeply to the area. And now imagine that this area, this sensation is a color. What color is it? Just noticing. Is there a shape appearing? Shape or a pattern? Is there any kind of texture to it? Just noticing a shape, pattern, or a texture, a form. Does it take any form? We're just witnessing this sensation and this part of our body that's asking for attention and care. Does it have a sound? Is there a sound or a tone, even a word, that comes from this part of our body? What does it want you to hear? Is there an aroma? Is there a smell that this part of your body is giving off, asking you to smell? And finally, is there a message? Is there anything it wants to say to you, or anything that it needs to say to the world or to someone else?
Hey, good morning.
And we're just going to send it so much love, so much care, so much good energy. Giving it gratitude for the message it sends to us. Honoring where it is and what it's saying, what it feels. Slowly, we're going to bring our attention to the rest of our body, even moving your body around if you feel kind of need to wiggle it out. Let the oxygen and the blood flow everywhere. And then when you're ready, we're going to take our deep blue and actually apply it to that area that was calling out to us. Remember to take a deep inhale first. And we're just going to give it some wonderful deep blue healing. And it's a different intention than trying to make it go away. Instead, we're soothing and caring for it, allowing it to be heard. If there's anything you need to jot down in your journal, the message or anything you'd like to take with you for the day from that meditation, this is a great time to do that. And if there's anything you want to share in the chat that you learned from that meditation, I'm sure we can all learn from your experience as well. We check the chat. Aisha, I have deep blue all over my hands. I don't know if you do too.
Yes, let me look here. Elena says she doesn't, but thankfully some of her customers have leg pain, lupus pain, and stomach pain, as well as back pain. Occasionally lower back and leg pain, overall from fibromyalgia, neck and shoulder tension, stiffness. Yay, exactly what I've needed today for pain and inflammation. There we go. Yeah, so this is a good topic for today, yeah? That was lovely, Arin. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, so throw in the chat any other pain conditions or ailments that you want to talk about today. So we're sure to cover all those things. Aisha, do you want me to kind of start with my pain story, or do you want to tell us?
Yeah, why don't you kick us off and then I'll jump in.
So when I first came to doTERRA, I had really bad foot pain and lower back pain. And it made it so that I really couldn't walk very much. And my mom also had herniated discs and arthritis through her whole spine. So we kind of came into doTERRA with pain. And hands down, the best thing we did, and I would recommend anyone who's dealing with chronic pain, inflammation, any of this pain stuff, is the Lifelong Vitality Pack. It was pretty incredible. After being on it for about 7 days, my mom noticed that she could walk upstairs again. Before that, her knees were so painful and so swollen, she couldn't really walk upstairs without it hurting. And then we knew for sure it was the Lifelong Vitality Pack when she ran out. And she was off of Lifelong Vitality Pack for about 7 days, and her knee swelling came back and it hurt again. For me, the Lifelong Vitality Pack took me down a shoe size. And this wasn't, my feet didn't shrink. That was inflammation. So for me, a lot of my foot pain comes when I'm inflamed. It's kind of that's one of the things I've loved about learning the message of the pain. Sure, it's annoying when my foot hurts and it slows me down, but what it's telling me is I'm maybe eating things that are triggering inflammation. Maybe I'm extra stressed out. I'm on my feet too much. I tend to be the type of person who wakes up and I go, and I don't rest. So my pain has taught me about rest. On top of the Lifelong Vitality Pack, the other thing that helped both of us was the process of layering oils. So when we came into doTERRA, there was no Aroma Touch, there was Deep Blue. And what we would do is layer marjoram, basil, frankincense, and then we'd cover that with Deep Blue. And then when Aroma Touch came out, we were like, oh, this is the most perfect blend. So if you struggle from pain, what I do is pretty much every morning, I put Aroma Touch up my spine and on my sacrum and the bottom of my feet. And then I cover that with the Deep Blue stick. And it helps so much. And I also feel like the Terrazyme helps with the inflammation. So if I stay on top of my Terrazyme, it will get much better. And diet. If you're struggling from inflammation and pain and joint stiffness, there are definitely foods that could be triggering you. Easily, I would try to eliminate gluten and sugar and see what happens. But it might be something different. For me, corn is very inflammatory. For my 5-year-old daughter, we actually ended up testing her for food sensitivities, and her food sensitivities were strange. They were eggs and gluten and weird things like green beans you never think of. So if you try to eliminate some of the normal foods like sugar and gluten, but you're still having the pain and inflammation, you might want to go to your doctor for a food sensitivity. But a lot of people say they start the LLV, they start the Terrazyme, and their pain goes way down, if not goes completely away. Aisha, have you experienced pain issues? I know you have migraines, but I'm
Oh,
wondering.
yes. Oh, yeah. Before I jump into that, I want to read this, what Marilyn wrote, because I think it so perfectly speaks to this conversation, and it's such a good reminder. She said, this Saturday, out of the blue, oh, wait, hold on, let me mute that. This Saturday, out of the blue, the tops of my feet hurt like nothing I had experienced before. Felt like every time I took a step, it felt like they were breaking. I didn't do anything unusual, but what I realized this morning was, oh my gosh, I had been really negligent in taking my LLV, my turmeric, my Copabia, and my deep blue polyphenol complex. So raise your hand if you can relate, because, you know, we talk a lot about this concept of daily habits. And I don't know, was anybody on the call just now with Dr. O talking about the importance of the microbiome? And one thing that he said that I just want to reiterate, and I really can't stress enough, is it's the things that we do every single day that make a difference. And so we might not realize how much of a difference they're making until we actually stop taking things for a while. And sure, we wish that we didn't have to take supplementation every day. But I mean, don't we all brush our teeth every day? Like, right? Like you would not, hopefully you all brush your teeth. I brush my teeth twice a day. Like there's certain things that we do and we don't even think twice about it. But it's so easy to get lazy about taking our supplements or using our essential oils or doing these things. But it's these things that we do every day that keep inflammation at bay. And the thing about inflammation is it's such a cause of bigger long-term issues, heart disease, diabetes, you know, these issues that none of us want to get. You know, these things, they're really starting to show that, you know, what we do in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s and our 50s, like that is going to impact how you age. And so giving your cells proper absorbable nutrition, giving yourself the probiotics, taking the antioxidants, taking the anti-inflammatories, all of this is going to have a huge, profound impact on your overall health. The other thing about inflammation is that when you've reached a 10 in your pain, it's so much harder to cut it back and to bring it back. And sure, we have those things that we can do to really help dial it back, but why not keep yourself from getting to that extreme point? Like I'm very prone to migraines. And so I know that one, there's a lot of things I do on the daily to keep those migraines from hitting me. But if I get the like ever so glimpse, like the tiniest glimpse of a migraine coming on, I don't wait till it's a 3 or a 4 or a 5 to address it. I address it immediately. So if you know that you have those sensitivities in your body, sometimes it's easy to go, oh, I'm going to wait and see, maybe it will calm down, but it actually just gets more inflamed. So one thing that I want to cover really quick, especially if you're new, is I just want to list out some of our top products for pain and inflammation. Like we talked about the Lifelong Vitality Pack. That is going to be your foundation. That is your foundation to build upon. So if we think about that wellness pyramid, that is the foundation of your house. And again, I'm just going to say we are living in an age where supplementation is imperative. Like, even if you eat well, even if you eat organic, our food source has just become really deplete of nutrients. And so we all need supplementation. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. The other products that are amazing for pain and inflammation are the deep blue polyphenol complex. So we have the deep blue topical products, which we all love. I think I might have shared with you the deep blue stick. I traveled with 4 of these to Europe in 2 months because I was using it on the daily. And if I have a migraine set in, this gets slathered all over my head. I love past tense too, but this has become my go-to. The Copabia gel caps. Now you can use these. We have the oil and the gel caps. Using it topically is also really good for pain and inflammation, but I also love to take the gel caps on a regular basis. Also, turmeric. We have an incredible turmeric product. Most turmerics on the market are not bioavailable, and turmeric in general is not very bioavailable, but ours is a mix of the turmeric powder and the turmeric oil, which makes it bioavailable. And then we have our special dual cap. So you know that like turmeric is sort of that cure-all that is just good for everything. And then also the MetaPwr, the whole MetaPwr system, which is supporting your whole metabolic system, which is so much more than just digestion. For so many years, how many of you thought kind of like, oh, metabolism, that's our digestion, but our metabolic system affects everything. And I know we've been talking about MetaPwr a lot, and I'm not going to get too much on my soapbox here, but if you're not taking MetaPwr, if you don't know about MetaPwr, I highly suggest going to our Visionary Leaders website and watching a very short video. It's under 10 minutes, and educating yourself about the power of MetaPwr. It is really, truly, in my opinion, it's been life-changing for me. And then, of course, all the things that, again, we hear over and over and over: monitoring your stress, keeping your blood sugar balanced, keeping yourself hydrated, getting proper sleep. All of these things are critical to managing pain and inflammation. And then oils, I just want to go over a couple oils that I love. And again, these are our go-tos. So again, we talked about the deep blue. There's the oil, there's the rub, and there's the stick. The difference with the stick, just so you know, is the stick has added Copabia in it. And this is actually one of our first products that has been FDA approved for pain and inflammation, which is really cool. So we can actually say, this is great for arthritis. We can actually say that, which is so exciting. Other oils which were mentioned in the chat: Aroma Touch. I know somebody had mentioned, I wish they could make that in a stick. I totally agree. I love Aroma Touch. Marjoram is a very soothing oil. Really good for cramping. Of course, Past Tense was our original blend for any kind of head tension. Frankincense under the tongue daily, also great for pain and inflammation. Copabia. Arin mentioned basil. I also want to give a shout out to lemongrass. Lemongrass is really warming and really wonderful for the ligaments, for the joints. In fact, basil and lemongrass together is an excellent combination if you have any kind of carpal tunnel issues or things in your joints. I love the combination of basil and lemongrass. So let's take a look at the chat and see if there's any specific questions or other people have things that they like to use. Arin, is there anything in the chat that you're seeing?
Sorry, I was muted. Helena's asking the question about the difference between turmeric oil and turmeric duo capsules. So that's important for us all to know and think about here. The duo caps have the turmeric essential oil and turmeric plant material. And the way they formulated, if you've ever heard Oh, you have to take black pepper with turmeric in order for it to work. The duo caps make it so that you don't have to worry about the black pepper. The way they've combined it, it's going to be super effective. The turmeric oil, you're going to use in many other different ways. So I would take the turmeric duo caps if you want to use turmeric for its anti-inflammatory abilities throughout your whole body. I specifically use it for my brain because after getting the virus that shan't be named, I got a lot of brain fog. And so those turmeric duo caps help with that. The oil you're going to use in so many different ways. One way you can use it is diffusing it while you're sleeping or while you're working. And then those aromatic molecules are going to go into your brain and help with inflammation. You can use it as a part of a skincare routine. It's going to be anti-inflammatory for your face. So you could make a serum or add it to a mask. You can use it as a part of your oral care, anti-inflammatory to your gums. You can apply it to your spine. I love to do turmeric, frankincense, and copaiba along my spine for just overall anti-inflammatory attributes. But it's not a either or. It's not, I can pick one or the other. They're for two very different things. I don't see anything else in the chat, Aisha.
Okay. Let us know if you have any other questions or if there's any, there's so many different great recipes too, if you want to make your own roller bottle oil for pain. So if you have a favorite recipe that you like, please share that in the chat. We also love learning from all of you.
Something that comes up a lot, I was just helping a customer with this, is pain from menstrual cramps. And so if that's something you deal with or someone you love deals with that, we're going to sound like a broken record here because my favorite thing for menstrual cramps is going to be layering Clary sage, marjoram, geranium, and then the deep blue stick. And then I put a hot water bottle or a heating pad over that. And so that would be wonderful for lower back pain as well, whether that's with cramps or without cramps. You can do, there's a really great recipe from Dr. Sue. We can pull it up, Aisha, for the show notes, but it's a Epsom salt bath soak with essential oils for sciatica. So if you're having some pain like that, remember to take a bath with Epsom salts and you can add oils to it. Aroma Touch is great in the bath. I know you would think, oh, it's too peppermint-y, but a couple of drops of Aroma Touch in some Epsom salts in the bath, and it's really lovely.
I'll touch on the menstrual cramp topic. This was a big one for me. I also have endometriosis, so my cramps were a 10+ every month. I'm actually gratefully in menopause now, so I don't have to deal with that anymore. But some things I really want to share that really helped me when I found doTERRA was, believe it or not, now the MetaPwr oil. I started taking, back then it was Slim and Sassy, and I started taking 25 drops of that a day. We didn't have the whole MetaPwr system, along with the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I saw a significant improvement, like probably my cramps went from a 10+ to like a 3. I don't want to, misrepresent, they still were there, but it was the difference of, being curled over in bed and not being able to function versus being able to go about my day and operate without having to take painkillers. The other oil that I love for menstrual cramps, along with what Arin mentioned, is ginger. Ginger is extremely warming. That is if you like a warming sensation. And I'll tell you something about ginger. It's good to dilute it down in some coconut oil because you'll sort of forget it's there. And then as your body heats up during the day, it will also heat up. So it literally will give you like these bursts of warmth through the day. But I always found that to be really welcoming and soothing. And so mixing some ginger with some marjoram. And then I also really love the Aroma Touch because I preferred more the warming sensation opposed to the cooling sensation when I had menstrual cramps. And the ginger really, it was almost like having a hot water bottle on your belly without walking around with the hot water bottle on your belly. But again, the other thing is we were saying is if you know that you or a loved one is prone to menstrual cramps, the things that you do all month are going to impact your cycle. So rather than waiting until you're at a 10 and in pain, if you do the LLV, also daily Clary Calm is really helpful. And also I'm going to make a shout out to the Phytoestrogen, which is a hormone balancer. So doing these things on a regular basis, and then if that pain starts, being really quick to layering the oils and using things immediately and keeping that consistent throughout the day can just make the biggest difference. So let's see if there's anything else or any other. Yeah, Arin mentioned for cramps, geranium, clary sage, marjoram, and the deep blue stick. Yes, yes, yes.
I think that another thing to mention for pain, especially chronic pain, is regular Aroma Touch sessions and or the Symphony of the Cells. So there's the inflammatory Symphony of the Cells and many other ones. You can look in the book and see which one kind of matches what you have going on, but that can be really helpful.
Oh yes, Arin, thank you for mentioning that. I was going to mention that. And also for those resources, raise your hand if is everyone familiar with Symphony of the Cells and Aroma Touch? If anyone's new and they're not, if you go to our hellovisionary.life website, first of all, if you've not been to our website, please go and spend like 5 or 10 minutes there because we have a massive amount of resources there. And I mean like probably thousands of hours at this point, because we've been collecting things there for over 10 years now, and we have so much. But there is a page about the Symphony of the Cells. And one thing that's really important is that traditionally this is a therapy that you would give to somebody else on the spine. But Dr. Josie talks a lot about how we can give this treatment to ourselves. And so what we recommend is if you make up the oils that are in a symphony, and there's a book called The Symphony of the Cells, and we have all these resources on the website. So if you're like, what are they talking about? And in that book, they list different protocols, and there is a protocol for inflammation. So we recommend putting the protocol together, like in a little oil case. Like for instance, I have this little oil case here, and you can literally just put your whole symphony in here, or you could make, different ones. Like here's my one for inflammation. Here's my one for emotional balance. Here's my one for hormones. So they're already made. And then have those symphonies by your bed or, in your bathroom or in a place where you'll administer them. And you can literally in a few minutes take each oil out and rub it on the bottoms of your feet and rub it on the back of your shoulders, and you're done. And if you're in Portland, I am actually hosting, my sister and I are hosting in our backyards, Symphony self-care days. So we are actually all doing a Symphony of the Cells together. Dr. Josie's leading us through it. She's talking about the symphonies, and you are all welcome. And that invite is on our Essential Wellness page. And we actually have one tomorrow night. And then we have one in the beginning of August. So if you're in Portland, please come and join us. I know Florence came to our last one and it was really lovely. So it's a wonderful way to reconnect, see one another, have some self-care. And then we're also talking a little bit about MetaPwr, and you're also welcome to bring your friends and or family. And I think with that, that kind of leads us into our next topic about networking during the summer. Yes, Arin, is that a good time to transition?
That's a great time. I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this call. And if doTERRA is your full-time business, then networking can be a little easier, right? But how many of us here is it our full-time business? You know, put in the chat if doTERRA is the only thing you do. I know Aisha, it's the only thing she does. Florence, it's the only thing she does. So if you're at an event and someone says, oh, what do? You two ladies can say, I teach people about essential oils, or I help people with their health. You can use your elevator pitch, right? And then that person knows Aisha's the doTERRA person, Florence is the essential oil lady. And that's great. But for many people, that is not the case, right? So who here has another job? Or who here is a coach or a healer, or you have something else? So when the person says to you, Helena, or to you, Jacqueline, what do? It can get a little confusing, right? You don't want to give them the whole list of, well, I do this and I do something. So you're going to want to use a concept called attraction marketing. And what that means is you're going to want to create curiosity in your conversations. You're going to want people to lean in. It's also a reason that you might really want to have a social media preference or a system where when you meet someone out and about and you have a great conversation and they're leaning in to like, oh, cool, you help. Jacqueline, I think, is it menopause that you do? You help women in menopause. So are you a health coach, a menopause coach?
Yes, I'm a holistic wellness coach. And so since I am dealing with menopause or just finished menopause, that's what I'm focusing on now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you might be out and about, someone asks you what you do and you say, well, you know how hard it can be for women to go through menopause. I'm a holistic health coach and I help women go through menopause. And so the person's either going to be like, that's not me, so I'm not interested. Or they might be like, oh, well, my daughter that's happening. Or they might be, oh my gosh, that's me, I need to know more. So they're leaning in. So you're going to want to have a process where you do either a tea date, or you have a free discovery call, or you have some way that you can take that interest into a deeper conversation so that you can get back to networking, or you can get back to the potluck. You're still using all the summer activities, you're using all the events to meet new people, but you have some type of system where then you can turn some of those interested conversations into potential customers. But then we have the next type of person, which is, I don't know, maybe you're a nurse, or you are a school teacher, or you're a stay-at-home mom, and you're not necessarily trying to get clients for another business, but you love your essential oils, your doTERRA products, you want to share them, you want to talk to people about them. So when you're out networking and whatnot, you can say something like, well, I'm a school teacher, but I also just fell in love with essential oils and I'm starting to teach people about them. Or, well, I'm a nurse, but I love essential oils and I actually host wellness classes at my house. So you do want to find some kind of way that you incorporate that into the conversation so people know. And it doesn't mean that you have to like fire hose them with that information. It's more just a little seed. You're planting a seed and conversations can go from there. And if somebody wants to know more, you can talk to them further about it. It's also a good idea to have samples in your purse or your bag. So the deep blue that we were talking about is a great sample. Carry around those deep blue samples, and it can be a wonderful way to introduce people to the oils in doTERRA. What are some summer networking tips from you, Aisha?
Well, I'm going to tag on to that because one thing that I love to do is I love to have a little sample pouch always in my purse. And in there, I'll have the deep blue samples. I love to just have the throat drops, the breathe, the On Guard, the ginger, and then I'll make up like a few little drams of oils. And then I also love to have a couple of the little A to Z guides. Sometimes I don't always have those with me and I give those out very sparingly, but it's nice to have it as a quick reference. So you can literally like get a little pouch and make yourself. And then, I mean, people don't use business cards so much anymore, but I still actually have some business cards. And oh, I lost my train of thought. Okay. So this is what I like to do when I go out, and you know, I go out and run errands a lot, right? So I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to the, you know, getting dog food, whatever it is I'm doing in my afternoon. I make a challenge to myself to talk to, depending on my day, 1 to 3 people during my outing and hand out those samples. And so I literally just sort of like set that intention. So when I'm going out, I make myself very open to conversation and open to organically finding the person that I am going to give a sample to. So it's a really fun way to challenge yourself. And it's just like going out and bestowing a little blessing into the universe and being like, you know, that waitress or the person that made your cappuccino, and just being, you know, like, and you can even let them know, say, you know, I've made this challenge to myself and I have a little gift for you. Would it be okay if I tell you about it? And, you know, so you can kind of just do it in a very friendly and organic way. But I think a thing that is like really important to do is when you set these intentions for yourself, and whether or not you're going to, like, there's lots of backyard barbecues right now. So think about, what event am I going to and what oils might be really easy to share? Well, so put in the chat, like if you were going to go to a backyard barbecue, what would you put in your purse to share? I want to hear before I'm going to share what I would share. This is a little quiz for all of you.
So while they're putting that in, you just kind of reminded me that when you go to those backyard barbecues, if you're asked to bring a dish or a drink, highlight the oils in which you bring.
Yes, exactly. So far we have lavender, yes, Terra Shield, peppermint, right? So think about it. Oftentimes at barbecues, we run into mosquitoes. So pulling out your bottle of Terra Shield, everybody is going to want to be using the Terra Shield, right? I mean, that is such an easy thing to pull out. And then while you're passing it around, say, yeah, this is great. It's completely non-toxic. It's effective. Spray it on your ankles, all of your skin. It's safe for your dogs. You literally can give a 3-minute oil spiel right there. And then you just don't have to say anything about that. It's like you just drop that seed. And, or yes, exactly, the On Guard sanitizing mist, and, or how about even the On Guard wipes, right? You can pull that out. Or if you're having a barbecue or something at your house, you can have these products out for your guests to use, right? So it's just about being organic and being in the flow. And then, as Arin said, there's so many incredible like drinks you can create or foods you can create. Oh yes, the sun care. The sun care is absolutely amazing. I love our sun care products. So again, I mean, it's so easy, like, right? We need our doTERRA all the time. So have it on you and always be ready to share it. You know, I was running through the airport. This was last fall. I was in the Amsterdam airport and I was going between flights, and this poor little girl had just gotten off the plane and she was sick and she was nauseous, and her parents, I could tell, were completely stressed. And I stopped and I said, hey, can I give her some peppermint? And I rubbed some peppermint onto their hands and I said, just have her smell this. And then I went on my way. You know, like in that moment, I wasn't even trying to like sell them anything. I was just like, let me help you. Like, you have an emergency right now. This is incredibly stressful. Let me just be the oil fairy and put some oils on you and just like help you in this moment. So just embrace that all of you are the same. All of you are oil fairies. All of you are oil goddesses or oil queens or whatever you want to be. You've been called by this amazing plant medicine, and it needs to be shared. And from doing that and from embodying that and from embracing that, then the abundance flows back towards us. Like it really, really does. Like you just keep planting seeds and sharing and let it be known, and just being really organic about it, and then watch that flow come back to you. And then also, you know, when you become a product of the product, like Florence, I'm going to use you as an amazing example. Florence's life has been completely transformed by the MetaPwr. Is that a fair statement? I mean, I'm saying that because I've heard you say that, like absolutely friggin' transformed. So who is not going to, one, notice that, be paying attention to that? And I'm imagine all of your friends and family are like, Florence, what are you doing? Right? Like, what are you doing? Like literally, you're like looking like you're 22, you know? I mean, so it's also that it's like becoming the product of the product. I mean, a lot of people are asking me like, Aisha, how is it that you're traveling for 2.5 months? It's like, well, this is my business. This is what I do. I can work from anywhere that I have a computer, you know, like this is something that I've built up for 13 years. And this is the life I've created for myself. Like, you know, there's just ways to organically blend that into conversations and make it very, you know, not pushy or salesy or fire hosey, but just very organic and really spark interest. One thing too that I've been saying a lot for when people ask me, what do you do? One answer I give is I'm a rep and I partner with doTERRA. Have you ever heard of doTERRA? No, not really. Oh, well, they're actually one of the leading wellness companies in the world. We have the best essential oils. You can use them to replace all over-the-counter pharmaceuticals. I teach people how to use them for their healthcare and their wellness. And you know, and then you just keep going on about the conversation. So as you get used to just like having it very confidently roll off your tongue in a way that feels organic and natural to you. So if you're not sure how to work that in, hopefully we're giving you some tips and some ideas of how to just be very organic. Another thing you might get a lot is, oh, you smell really good. Oh, great. You know, like, what are you wearing? Oh, you know, these are essential oils that I use for my healthcare. Like, I don't actually put them on for perfume, right? I just put them on for my healthcare. And then people say, oh, you smell so good. And I'm like, what do I even have on? It's like, well, I have Immortelle and Rose and the shampoo and, you know, all the things and the deodorant and all of it.
Aisha, Marilyn's asking you to type that into the chat. And I think it would be a great thing to share maybe in our email and our notes. That was a really good elevator pitch.
Yeah, I'm always better at saying it than writing it. Can I just say it again?
Here, say it and I'll try to type it for you.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
a rep. Right?
Okay, I just say, so when somebody says, you know, what do you do? I say, I am a rep for doTERRA. I partner with doTERRA. They're a wellness company. Have you ever heard of them? And then when they say usually no, then I say, we are the leading essential oil company in the world. Essential oils can be used for your healthcare and replace all over-the-counter pharmaceuticals and use for your daily wellness. And I teach and educate people how to use them. You know,
I didn't know all of that, but oh my God.
Yeah. So it's just something along those veins. I mean, sometimes I'll stop with I partner with doTERRA and I'll stop there. So it depends on the conversation, or, you know, sometimes I'll kind of wait to hear their response, but just kind of giving you some of the other talking points that I use and how I say that.
So what I would add on to this is you're doing all this good work to be organically sharing and sampling and meeting new people, and you're out and about. And if you add in a little bit of strategy, which Aisha is doing, so we can follow Aisha's example, where she has a monthly social at her house. It's casual. She's not calling it a class, right? People are coming over. You're doing Symphony of the Cells.
It's the summer self-care social.
There you go.
You're all welcome. You're literally all welcome to go to the Eventbrite and cut and paste everything I've written and use it for your own, just so you know.
So if you live in Portland, go and bring your guests to Aisha's. If you don't live in Portland or you want to have your own, yeah, just copy what she's doing. That way, when you're out and about and you're meeting people and you're talking to people, if they're like, oh, well, how do I learn? I want to learn more. You can say, well, I've got an event coming up. Do you want to come with me? I'm going over to my friend Aisha's house. We're going to learn all about it. Or you can say, I'm hosting something at my house. If you don't have an event coming up, you can say, well, let's get together for tea. Florence does that a lot because her beautiful secret garden, right? She can say, come over to my secret garden and learn about the essential oils. So what we're trying to give you here is this organic flow, this natural flow that doesn't feel salesy. It doesn't feel pitchy. You're a product of the product. You're living it, right? You smell good. You've got samples. You're showing people by using your products in front of them. And then when people are interested in leaning in, you either invite them to an event that you're hosting or the one Aisha's hosting, or you get together for tea with them. And it can really be that simple and that easy. Of course, then, it's knowing how to go and get them the account. I ran into a little bit of an issue this week that I want to share with you because it was a learning moment for me. It might be a good learning moment for you. I run a women's networking group in my town. That's how I do a lot of my networking. And at the group, there was an Avon lady. Okay, isn't it so cool that Avon's still around? A great example of how direct sales is time tested and true. So there's an Avon lady there. And we start talking and she finds out that I do doTERRA. My answer is something similar to Aisha. When someone says, what do? I say, well, I sell essential oils. I partner with a company called doTERRA. And so she was telling me that she loves doTERRA, but she lost her rep because her rep isn't really doing doTERRA anymore. And she said she was looking for someone serious. And I said, well, I'm serious. I've been doing this for 15 years. I have the oils everywhere. I'll give you a call tomorrow. So I gave her a call. We started talking about what she needed and what she was doing. And then I went through my regular process, which is to sign her up and get her own account. And she said, oh no, I want to just come over to your house and get the products. And I was like, well, I don't have in stock what you want. And it's not really how, I run the business. And it's so much better for you to have your own account and be able to order when you want. And she was a firm, no, I do not want my own account. I do not want to go order what I want. I want someone to take care of me and just get me the products. Have you ever had this happen? And I kind of stumbled over, and I don't know, it was an off day for me or something. And then finally I remembered, oh, it's the end of the month. And I'm probably going to put in orders to close out my power of 3 or something. Does anybody ever do that where you've got I'll get my $250 bonus if I place an order? So I realized that when I have people like this, I can just say, what would you like to order? I can either have it drop shipped or I can deliver it to them. I can choose to charge them retail for a little extra on there. And I just wanted to remind you of that if it ever comes up. It is certainly not ideal because it's so much better when people have their own accounts. And we can take the best advantage of the compensation plan when we build the power of 3 bonus. But if it comes up and you have someone like that, or you can even do something where you're on the 20th of every month, I put in an order. And in your list, you can have a list of people who have wanted product, but they don't want their own account. And it's a great time to call or text people and say, I'm putting in my monthly order. Can I grab you anything? So I just wanted to share that little hiccup I had because I learned something and I hope it helps you.
Yes, absolutely. That is a golden tip. And we talked about this last week, but I really want to reiterate it. And I'm really seeing the people in my team having success that are doing it, is that everybody really has Zoom fatigue and has become so isolated and lonely and kind of collectively traumatized from the last few years that beginning to host in-person events right now, especially if you are building this business or you really want to create some momentum in your business, is incredibly valuable, and people are showing up. Now, that can be something again, we had kind of the old model where we would do, oil classes and kind of have this whole agenda. So it's like we have an agenda, but we're really focusing them on self-care, on connection, on being a bit more casual. And the beautiful thing about teaching people, like you could do this with the Aroma Touch or the Symphony of the Cells, is you're giving people an immediate experience. You're talking about, you literally can kind of give a quick overview about why doTERRA and what makes doTERRA different, right? Like you would do in an intro class. And then you're giving people an immediate experience, and then it leaves time for some kind of socialization and care and showing people like, oh, how would you use all of these oils? And it's so valuable. So even if you're new to this business, or even if you've never hosted a class, I highly recommend having a gathering just for a couple friends. You don't need tons of people there. You know, it's really like you can have such an effective event with literally like 2 to 4 to 6 people. Like that in itself can be so healing and so much fun. And people are just really craving that connection. So be that in your community. And if you begin to hold that space on a regular basis, I promise you that prosperity, that energy, that momentum will begin to return to your business. Because another thing that's also happened is a lot of us have gotten really burnt out and tired and exhausted over the last few years and lost momentum in our businesses. And so if you want to pick up momentum, you know, by all means, we share a lot of things to do, but I really cannot stress enough the power of starting to do some in-person events again. And then also, I'm hoping that all of you will be joining us at convention. And if you're unable to join us live, that you'll at least be joining us online. We have also the release of some really exciting new products. And this is really a great way to kind of recharge yourself and keep yourself in the know and keep your momentum going. So if you've not gotten your convention ticket, please, please, please do so. And I will just, one more thing, if you're not going and you're going to be at home, then host a convention party and invite your friends and family over to watch part of or all of convention with you. So make the most of it. And now is the time to actually set up an event, plan for it, and begin inviting people so people can take that time off. Because if you're inviting them a week before and they haven't heard of it, then most likely they're going to be busy. So, really use that strategy. And then also there's massive momentum and excitement, as we all know, post-convention and then kind of through the last quarter of the year. And now is really the time to start setting up the momentum for that. So if you're having an event, and one last tip I'll give you about an event is if you're having events, then always have your next event planned. So when you have your guests there, you can invite them back. Say in 2 weeks, we're going to have this event. So and I will, another tip is I make a Eventbrite link, and space is limited. Like our backyard is really only so big. And so I ask people to reserve a ticket and let them know like space is limited, and we kind of have a cap here. So it's important, to let that be known and set it up that way. And then that kind of creates a little bit more of an urgency and kind of like, oh, okay, I need to reserve a ticket. And be there. So we're at 11 o'clock. Anything else, Arin?
I think that's good. It was great connecting with everyone today, and share the recording with anybody you know that needs a little help with their pain.
Yes. Thank you all. Have a great week. See you next Monday. Bye-bye.